Hello, fifth and sixth graders. For art today, we are going to create some art inspired by Chuck Close. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And one second. Okay. So this is Chuck Close, and he says, "Hello, my name is Chuck Close. I was born in Washington in 1940. I suffer from a neurological condition called prosopagnosia. Now, I'm not sure if I said that right, which is also known as face blindness. This means I am able to see faces, but I am unable to commit them to memory. I could see my best friend and not recognize them. The inability to recognize faces is what drove me to create a lot of portraits. It helps me understand what people look like a little better. I'm best known for my massive grid-style portraits that can take up an entire wall. You'll see some examples. When I was 49 years old, an artery in my spine ruptured and it left me almost completely paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. Though this made creating art difficult for me, it didn't let it stop me. Instead, I taped a paintbrush to my wrist and continued to make breathtaking and giant portraits. So these are some examples of his works. This is a self-portrait he did of himself. You can see how it has a grid-like structure. Here's some more examples. Look at the details when close up. There are colorful organic shapes within the grid squares. So for our art today, the first thing you're going to do is draw yourself. You're just drawing from the shoulders up. Make sure it takes up almost all of the page. So it's almost like you can see on this girl, her shoulders are almost going off the page. So you want it to take up as much of the page as you can. Don't shade or add color. This is just an outline. So there are some how to draw portrait pages that I can pass out, but I'm going to start off by drawing myself. So we'll get the best that we can. So I'll kind of show you while I'm drawing here. I'm going to start with a pencil very lightly. I'm going to start with my shoulders down here and my neck. And then I'm going to go in with my head. And then I'm going to go over this with a Sharpie on my final product. I don't want any pencil lines. I'm doing this pretty quickly for this video, but you want to make sure and take your time on this, okay? I'm going to add my eyes. And my nose. And my lips. Okay? And then I'm going to add in some eyebrows. And then I'm going to add in my hair. Okay, so that's me. Ish. Okay. I will want to go back in and make sure I erase any pencil lines that are on there. So there's not any pencil lines on my picture. I'm doing a video. I'm doing a video. Okay. The next step is to create a grid on your picture. So this is how we can get that grid-like look that Chuck Close has in his portrait. So what you're going to do, you need a regular ruler like this. And the distance for your grid is just going to be the width of the ruler. So I'm going to put this right on the edge and make the lines. Line down. I'm going to go to my next one, putting my ruler right next to that line to make the next line. And do that all the way across. And then you're going to do it horizontally as well, so that you have grid lines. I did this one a little earlier, like this, all the way across, and you can see they're about 1 inch, which is the size of the ruler. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one that I did a little bit earlier. After you make all of the grid lines, for your art today, we're going to be using watercolor. So we're going to go over the grid lines with glue. So it's going to be a very thin line. I started at the top. You can see I have some little clumpies of glue. You really want to try to avoid that as much as you can. After you make the grid lines, you're going to go in and put a very thin line of glue on all the grid lines and all the outlines that you made in your portrait. So of your hair, your neck, and your face, all of that. Once that's done, and you can see I've put glue on the top. I did that a little earlier so that it could start to dry. Once that's done, of course, we need to let the glue dry. Then you need to take a sticky note or a small piece of paper, and on it, you need to write shirt and make 2 boxes, hair, 2 boxes, face, and then background. So you have this written out. I know it might be backwards for you, but with 2 boxes. So on your writing, your shirt is going to be 2 colors. Your hair is going to be 2 colors, face, and then the background, 2 colors. Okay, so using these watercolors, you need to choose 8 colors. Now, keep in mind, everybody has to use these, and you don't need very much to do yours, and you can always get more. So when you get your paint, you are getting a little bit, and you're probably going to have to share the paint holders with somebody else. So for my background, I'm going to do purple. I'm going to put in just a little bit of purple and this turquoise. I'm going to put just a little bit of that. I want you to see how much I have in there. For my hair, I'm going to do yellow and orange. Okay, and then you have to do that for each section. I'm going to only show you these 2 for this video. So for my background, I said I need to get a brush. I'm going to use purple, so I need to get my brush wet because we're not putting any water in the watercolor. So you need to get your brush wet. So I'm going to use purple for my background. So I'm going to color in this box purple and rinse it out, and blue. Rinse it out. And then I said for my hair, I'm going to use yellow. Just filling in these little boxes. So this is kind of my key as I'm working. And orange. So that I have done. I just did those two. You, of course, will need to do all of them. Okay. Now, once my glue is dry, which mine isn't white, but for the video, I'm going to get started on this. So I'm going to start with this background. Now you'll notice like here in this grid, it has some background and some of my hair. So the part, there is glue on that line so that it shouldn't run. The part that's hair, I'm going to do the hair color. The part that's background, I'm going to do the background color. So I'm going to start with my purple squares in my background. I'm going to start here. I'm going to color that whole square purple. And I'm going to do a pattern. You have to use two colors, but you can kind of do it how you would like. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to skip, go over here and do purple in this one. I'm going to go down here, skip, and do purple in this one. Okay, so I'm going to do all the purple first, so I don't have to rinse my brush in between. Okay, so I'm going to go on so I can show you then for the rest of my background. I'm going to go in and do blue. I'm going to skip for this box. I'm not, oops, this should have been purple, but I'm not doing the hair section. I'm only doing the background section because this is a background color. Okay, so when I go in and do my hair, I'm doing yellow and orange. Start with yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of make a pattern with my yellow and orange. Oops, I dripped there. It's okay. Okay, so then you can see I will then do my face, which I'm using two different colors for, and then my shirt, which will be two different colors. When you go to do your eyes, if you just want to leave them white and your lips white, I think that's probably best so they stand out a little bit. And then when you're done, you'll have this whole thing colored. You'll have 8 different colors in a grid-like way, just like Chuck Close. You can refer back to this video if you have any questions.